Hey, hi. This is Eugene from Fast Coding School. Very good evening to all of you at your place. Please confirm if you can hear me. Maybe you can use yes and no button in the Zoom window. Yeah. So Meenu saying yeah, Lalit saying yes, Harsh saying yes. Okay, thank you. So this is our day one. Yesterday we were just talking about what are the various versions available in Python, what is the current version that we are going to use, and where it is being used, what are the various use cases where Python is the popular programming language developers are using. And on the day one, basically we are starting with the teaching today. So day one, we'll talk about certain topics in Python, and I have listed those topics on the screen that you can see using my sketchbook. So we are going to discuss about data types today. We are going to talk about how to take input from the user. We'll also talk about how to import various libraries or batteries in Python, and finally we'll end up the discussion with string operations or string methods. So how you can handle the string operations in Python. So that is the agenda for today. And as told yesterday, we are going to use RAPL for us. And here you can see currently I'm in Firefox browser right now, and I just typed rappel.it, and there you can see either you can start coding directly while pressing on this button start coding, and it will create a RAPL for you, and you can select the language you are interested in. Right now we are in Python, so it will create a RAPL for us. So this is a direct process without any sign up process. If you want to retain your work, or you want to retain your source code on the cloud, you can sign up as well. So there is a sign up button that you can see. The version that we are using right now on the RAPL is Python 3.8, and this is there. And right now the screen that you see is a Chrome browser where I have already signed up, and that's where you see this is my account, and I have this display name Fast Coding School. This is there you see there are three windows. On the left hand side you will see our file, a configuration file structure, and then this middle window is for writing the code, and it has already created an empty file for me, that's main.py. Extension to the Python source files is .py. And on the right side, that a black background that you see and white text you see is a kind of a console, or it's a kind of a command prompt. So whatever we write, we'll see there is output there. So I'm just increasing this command line space. So here I'm just so I'll just use this command line, and we'll discuss some of the concepts today. Uh, First of all, uh, if we write a code here, for example, this is the main.py, and I write this print hello. So this is a single line statement, and I can directly run it from here, and there you see the output by just pressing this run button. And to start with, this is a simple statement. Using print, you can have an output to the user, have an output on the display, have output on the command prompt. To start with, we use hash for single line comment. This is single line comment that you can see. And if you want to have a multi-line comment, so that was auto done by that. So it's a single line comment. You can use hash for that. If you want multi-line commenting, we use a mechanism that is called as triple quotes, right? So that is the start of the triple quotes, and that's the and whatever you write in between, they will be considered as multi-line comment. But I will tell more details about this multi-line commenting later on. In general, this is called as doc string. We call this as a doc string, but we'll talk about the doc strings later on when we talk about functions. But as of now, you can understand, if you're very new to Python programming, that this is used for multi-line commenting. So that is there. So this is there. So two ways to comment, in Python: single line comment and a multi-line comment. That's there. Now coming to the command prompt, there you see I can use the commands directly here as well. Doing print 2 plus 3, so it will evaluate what the 2 plus 3 and print it. Now, Python. Why the Python is so popular? A programming language, and I think the biggest advantage of Python is this: that there are a lot of libraries, a lot of batteries available, and you think of anything that can I do this in Python, and there is a library available for it. It can be anything. It can be backend development. It can be game development. It can be any data science library. It can be any visualization library, or net connectivity library, database connectivity library. Every library is available in the Python. And how we can make use of those libraries. To start with the basics, if you want to include a library, you need to use a statement that is called as import, right? And now, after this statement import, you need to mention the library name. So let's say with the basic understanding, we want to import a math library. So it's there, import math. And now, when I press that, you can see it successfully imported my math library. But I don't know what the math library is used for. What are the various methods that I can use, in math library, and how to look for a specific function. And if you want to know about that, there is a method in Python which is called as dir. And now, using this method, you need to mention the name of your library, that is math, right? Or any other library that you import. And there you will see a list of methods, right? A list of methods that are there. And as of now, you can see in the beginning, there are a couple of methods which are starting with double underscore. We call them as dunder functions, double underscore. We'll use these dunder functions later on, but as of now, you can focus on these functions that you can see. There you can see we have pi, we have sqrt, we have tan. A lot of functions are available there. And if you want to know details of the specific function, you can ask for help. So this is help. And now you need to mention the name of a specific method. So let's say you are interested in, for example, this sqrt. So how you can look for a help in this case? Math, that is your library name, and then you have to use dot, and then you need to mention the name of your a method that you are interested in. So there you will get a help, and it is the help that we have. What it says, that it returns the square root of x. It returns the square root of x. So if we want to use it, how we can use it? We can use it like that's math here, and then dot, and then having this function sqrt, and you need to call. How you can call? You need to pass some value. So let's say we pass some absolute a number here. So let's say I want to calculate the square root of 20, that you get the output. So it's a float number that you can see. So can you please confirm with me that is screen clearly visible to you? Are you guys getting it? Can you please confirm this? Harsh, can you please let us know? Minu, Lalit. Uh, okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. So thank you. Now maybe we can have one more function from this. Let's say you want to know POW. POW stands for power. So how you can use that? So we need to go for help first, and then we need to say math.pow. Here you see, let me increase the size a little bit. I think that would be much better. So that will increase the font, not increase the font, actually it will increase that browser font. So this is how you get, and now you can see that, it is, giving us that it will return x to the power y, right? It will return x to the power y. And if you want to use it really, then you just need to say math and then a function name, that is POW. Then you need to pass on the values. Let's say you want to calculate the 2 to the power 8. So in that case, x has to be 2 and y has to be 8. So, this is there, and then there you see the output. If you are want to import other libraries, let's say you want to do some data analytics kind of stuff, you can use import pandas, right? Or import numpy or import matplotlib. So pandas is kind of the most popular library for data analytics, or kind of ETL activities. So that's there. Uh, so there are a lot of libraries, and if some library is not available, it will install for you. So let's say I do import pandas. So it is saying that pandas is currently not installed, but you can install it. So that is there. And there are commands for it, and maybe pip install pandas. So that is there. And oh, it says so we need to look how we can have a just a minute, if I can do it here. I think that should work. So import pandas as PD. So okay, so now it's working for me. So you can see it's installing a library for me. It didn't work on the command line, but it is working in the source file. So we just need to wait for a little while and we can start using it. So it's right now installing the pandas. Earlier it was just updating the dependencies. So behind the scene pandas uses NumPy, which is called as numerical Python. It's a data science library for mathematical operations, and it's pretty much fast. So that's there. And now I can say import pandas. Yeah, Lalit, I was an impression from Anaconda, and thank you for that. So this is how import pandas. Now, there are a couple of variations how you can import various libraries. So see this, let's say, earlier we imported import a math, right? We did import math. So that's here. Sometimes we do this way as well. Import math as empty. You can give some alias name to it. So import math as empty. And now if you want to use any function from this library, then we have to use empty dot. Let's say you're interested in SQRT and some pass on some value. So this is 4.0. So now this has become kind of an alias, and that's why I did import pandas as PD. or any other name that you like. So that's there. And sometimes there can be one more flavor, like from math, from math import sqrt, right? Import sqrt. So here from math library, you are importing the sqrt function or method, and that can be now used directly without using any dots. So now you can use this here. So that's there. So there you see. And finally you can have something like that, sqrt as sqrt as let's say st, for example. So in this case, from math library, you are importing sqrt with the alias name as st. So here you do st now and pass on some value to calculate the square root. So this is how you get it. So I think I have discussed all the flavors of how you can have various ways to import a library. So that should be now clear to everyone. Is that okay with everyone? And then we move to something next. So guys, please share feedback whenever you feel that yeah. So that I can assume that things are going well for you. And in case if you have some doubt, you can always have your concerns over chat window. So that's there. Now coming next, that how we can take input from the user, how we can take an input from the user. And to read the data, to get an input from the user, Python uses a method which is called as input, that is there. And now, in the input method, right, input method, you need to mention the message that you want to show to the user. So let's say I say using double quotes. So I want to specify a string here. So input, and then I say please enter your name, right? So basic, so please enter your name. So please enter your name. So this is how I specify the message. So now input method will execute. It will show this message to the user and prompt the user to give the input. And let's say when the user gives some input, we need to store it somewhere, right? And that's what we use a variable that will hold the value for this input function. So exactly how you write it, in this way, that x or any other variable name you can have. So x is equal to input, and then I say here your name please, right? So this is there. And when I execute this statement by pressing enter, you can see now it is giving me a message, giving me a prompt that your name please, right? And let's say I enter my name, for example, Yukendra, and that you can see. And now I can print this name. So because X is the variable that is holding that data or that information, so that you can see. And now a couple of things which are important here to know about the input method. First, we need to understand that when input takes the value from the user, right, how it reads that, so we need to know that what the data type, what is the type of this X. So we need to call a method that is called as type. And now in that, we need to pass on the variable. Sometimes this variable also known as object in Python. We call them as object in Python, right? So we are passing our object, and that you can see, guys, it is saying that a type of X is str. Type of X is str, or maybe you can say X is a object of str class. So it's a kind of a data type in Python. That means whenever we are going to take input from the user, right, we are always going to get the data in str form only. So x or any other variable which will take data from input method will always be of type str only. It is a string, it's a text, right? So in case a couple of interesting things like this, because now X is str. Str stands for string. So we'll talk about more today around the strings. If you just for fun, if you say print X into 3, and then you see what happens here. Can you see Yogendra? So basically this X got repeated, 3 times. So whatever number you pass on, it will just repeat that. And if you want to know what is the length of your string, because X is a string right now, so you can use a alien method here. It's an inbuilt method in Python. Whatever the object you pass on to alien method, it will give you the length. So I say, give me the length of X. It will tell you that it has a total 8 letters in that name. So that is there. Now, after understanding this X, that as of now X is a str, what can be the other data types that we can use in Python? What can be the other data types, and how to declare them, how to define them? So for that purpose, right, we say, let's say I take a variable named age, and I want to assign some value to it. So I will use assignment operator equal to, and let's say I say 35. So age is equal to 35, right? And now this is a simple, a declaration of a variable with the name age, whose initial value 35 has been assigned to it. Now, here you can see that we did not explicitly mention any data type here. So what happens in Python, guys, whatever value you assign to a variable or an object, the type of that object is dependent on the kind of value you assign to it. If you assign an integer value, your variable becomes integer. If you assign a float value, your variable becomes float. If you assign a string, your variable becomes a string. If you assign a Boolean value, your variable becomes Boolean, right? So now here you can see, because I have assigned an integer number here. So what would be the type of age? The type of age would be, here you can see, we are going to use type method. And now I will say, give me the type of age. So here you can see, guys, a class int. And generally when you say print, so you want to get the class, so you say print, and then inside the print you call the type method, and there you see the age, and then you get int, right? So a couple of changes from my Anaconda. So here you can see integer type is there. Okay, can you can you quickly answer if I say something like that? Marks is equal to 75.5. What would be the type in that case? Can you please answer that? That what would be the data type in this case? So in this case, it has to be float, because the value that you have assigned is, yeah, thanks Lalit, thanks Minu. So Lalit, there is no concept of a double or long in Python. So because memory management in Python is very different from, usually what you compare with C programming and all. So this is all float here. So we have integer or we have a float, right? Now, similarly, I can say that name is equal to, let's say, California, right? So if I say this, what would be the type? What you say? What would be the type in this case? So this is, pretty much straightforward, because I have been using double quotes here. So yeah, Narasin, you're right. So this would be a str. So again, a str here, right? Similarly, I say status, right? So there is a variable with the name status, and I assign some value that is true basically. And now we need to check what is the type of our object status. Here it is saying boolean. So boolean stands for a boolean here, right? And mind it, guys, this is case sensitive, right? You cannot have something like that. uh, you know uh, you cannot have something like that and saying uh, true. So this would not be the right. So in this case, it is raising error that name true is not defined, right? And similarly, you can have status is equal to false as well, right? So this is also allowed, and we have this. So there you see boolean, right? Uh, After this, sometimes we don't know while using a variable in the beginning that what value it will have. We are not pretty much sure about that. And if you don't know what specific value that a variable will hold, you don't know, will it hold an integer value, will it hold a float value, but still you want to name it, you want to use it. So in that case, maybe you can go for something like that, you know where you are declaring a variable x, so your object is x, and the initial value that you assign to it is none. So it's a kind of a equivalent to null in in programming languages like Java or C or something like that. So it's a equivalent to null actually, right? And this is the initial value assigned to it. And if you want to know the type in this case, that what would be the type of x, this comes out to be none type. So guys, none type is a class, and none is a value, right? It's a value, and none type is a class. So we have a none type. So if you talk about what can be the a various uh, you know inbuilt data types available. We'll talk about more data types later on, but today for primary uses, what we can we list them here? The integer is there, and then what else? Then we have float here. Then what else? We have str here. Then what else? Boolean we have, and then what was else? A none type, right? So that is there. So these are the primary, data types, right? Would be there, and see if I say print x here. So see, Lalit, if I say print, it will print the value none, right? So these are the data types here. So after this, we come to a point that, let's say we want to read age from the user. We want to take age as an input from the user. What will happen in that case? So let's say I want to take age. So how I will write that, guys? I will say age is equal to, okay, age is equal to, then what? I will call the method because I need to take data from the user. And as I say, enter your age, and that you see. So now I get a prompt and get a message, enter your age, and let's say I enter my age 35. So now we need to look at a couple of things here, because I made a statement earlier that input method will always read the data in str format only. And that's always true. It's not going to change anytime. That means if we talk about that, what would be the type of age, it says it's a string, right? And when I just say is, you can clearly see this is coming in single quote, right? So in Python, whether it's a single quote or whether it's a double quote, it's always a str. It's always a string. So don't get confused if you see a single quote here. The single quote is also allowed in Python. Double quote is also allowed in Python. right? And now that you can clearly see that this is str, but age cannot be a str, right? It has to be number. So what we need to in that case, what we need to do in that case, we need to convert this str data type to integer or to a float data type. And how you can do that? This kind of activity is basically known as typecasting, right? Type conversion or typecasting in any programming language. It is, not the specific case of Python only. This happens in every programming language. So now we need to convert this age. So how we can do this? So I can keep this statement that please convert my age to integer and assign it back to the same variable, right? So this is as of now str, then it got typecasted into integer and finally assigned to age again. And now after doing this, a conversion, you can clearly see that type of age is now in integer. So this is kind of a type conversion. And similarly, now you can see that what would happen if I do this kind of conversion. Can you respond to this, that what would be the output of this statement if I say typecast 3.4, which is obviously a float value, to integer? What would be the output in that case? What you say, guys? So Lalit saying it has to be 3. Nara saying yes. Nara, yes. This will convert my float data to integer, and the only integer part would be there. So can you see? I only got 3, not even 3.0, because again 3.0 will become what? Float only, right? So this is how you convert integer, a float value to integer. And similarly, what will happen, guys, if I do this kind of conversion, that converting integer to float? What will happen in this case? Can you guess what would be the output if I do this, guys? Yeah, Nara, you are right. Yeah. So yeah, Harsh, you are right. So there you see 3.0, right? So this is how you convert, right? So we'll see conversions later on as well. So that was just talking about that, how the typecasting happens in Python. And now coming to a more detailed discussion on string operations, because handling the text data, or related to the operations to text data, they are really important in any programming language. So we need to focus on that now, and let's see how it goes, right? And it would be quite interesting. So guys, can you please let me know your feedback, how things are going at your end so far? Are they is it okay with you? Are things going good with you? Please, yeah, I'm good. That will throw error, but we'll talk about that later on. During coming days, I'll discuss that part as well. We have some assignments on that. We have some code challenges on that. So Harsh, Lalit, Meenu, can you please let me know, Nara? So okay. Cool. Okay, Satur. Okay, thank you, MK Satur. Good. So, so Nara, is it good with you? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Meenu. Yeah. Thank you. So now we'll talk about a couple of things in string now, right? A couple of things in string. So let's understand that part. Let me see if it is a little better here. So here, see, a couple of things for you. Let's say I want to declare a string object. So how we can do that? So let's say I do this str1. So this is a name of my object, str1. and I want to assign some initial, text to it. So let's say I say a fast coding school, for example. Just say, So str1 is equal to fast coding school. So here, right, you can see that it is going to be a str, right, and we can just run it, and let's see what the output comes. Oh, it didn't give. Okay, just I need to use print in that case if it is not giving me the response. So let's run it, and there you see it is giving a str. Okay, now let me give you another flavor. So this time I say str2 is equal to within the single quote fast coding school, right? So or maybe directly fast school. So here as well, you will see that type of this object str2 is still a string. So I'm just giving all the flavors. Here I was using double quote that you can see. Here I'm using a single quote, and there you see in both of the cases we are getting str and str. Okay, what happens in the third scenario where I do something like that? Str3 is equal to, this time I'm using a double quote, but I'm just saying a single letter this. So what would be the case in that case, right? So what would be the type in this case? Type of str3. So guys, mind it, still this is a string. Still this is a string, although you may have a impression from your C programming background or any other programming background. You may think a kind of a char or something like that. No, it's not char in Python. It's still a str. It's still a str there. Can you see that, right? And a final to this as well, not even final. I think I have one more type. So str4 is equal to, this time I'm using this, right? So again, don't get confused, guys. This is still a str only. So can you see I used a double quote multiple letters, single quote multiple letters, double quote with single letter, single quote with single letter. This is again same str only. So this is there. So here you see all of them are str and str only. Okay, and finally when I do str5 is equal to a triple quote, here you can see, right, triple quote, and I say fast. So this is still a str only. So let me use a print here. So here you see. So uh, everything is str. You can see all the possible flavors in Python that you can see. Str, this is str, this is str, and this is also str. Although we use triple quotes, and then that is not a very used something like that. Yes, Lalit, there is a specific use case, but what I was saying, Lalit, that in journal practice, we don't use or don't declare or don't define strings this way. Although it is allowed in Python, no doubt about it. But as I told you, that we use triple quotes for multi-line commenting, and this triple quoted string is called as doc string, basically, right? We call this as doc string, and that is pretty much used in functions. We'll use if you want to document a function, we use triple quotes. We use a doc string there. So when we talk about our functions, I'll explain this concept. So but as of now, this is not a kind of a practice that you declare a variable like or declare a string like that. This is not like that. So this is there. My RAPL is connecting. I think it lost the connection. So okay, let it be there. Now, okay, it is just saying that it cannot. So let me refresh it if things are working fine. So I'm just refreshing it. Sometimes it gets disconnected. So in the meantime, we continue to talk about strings only. So let's just wait if we are able to connect back. Seems to be some issue with that. Yeah, this time I think it's fine. Okay. So can you see, guys? I refreshed my page, but I still, got my, data back. So this is, a possible if you are signed in, right? Otherwise, you will lose your, you know, uh, you will lose your data which you were, writing here. So okay, now a couple of things there. As of now, I can just, so I'll use, whatever, a code I'm writing. We'll upload that code on the Google Drive for you. So, uh, uh, in case you want to access later on, you can, still, do that. And what is the drive link for that? Just a minute. The drive link is this. So that's here is the drive link I'm sharing in the chat window. So here it is. Now, a couple of things here. See, let's say I declare, I'll just remove everything from here. So things are much cleaner for you. So, and see this and thoda sa. Okay, fine. So now here str1 is equal to FOSC, let's say a FOSC India. So see, this is there. str1 is equal to FOSC India. And now, if you want to print the length, so how you can do that? You can use a function alien, and in that alien, you just need to pass on the name of your object, that is str1 here, and oh, it's taking my previous pandas data. Okay. I can just use in that case, maybe I can use this one in the meantime. Okay. So here I can increase a font a little bit. Maybe I can use a large font here. Okay, I do use that. And here I say str1 is equal to FOSC India, and I say print length. So I would say str1 here, and it will print the length. So it just printed 11. Why 11, guys? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. The space is also counted, and then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10, and then 11. So this way you get the 11. Okay. Now in Python, let's say when I do print str1, it prints the entire string, right? It will print the entire string, no big deal into that. But if I want to print a partial part of it, right? A part of it, or a substring of this str1, I can still do that. So how we can do that? We need to make use of indexing concept. We need to make use of indexing concept. And what is that indexing concept? So let's discuss that part. So here we say like this, that this print And now in the print, I say str1, and now you need to use, square brackets. And in the square bracket, you need to specify that which letter you want to print, and for that purpose you need to mention the index of that letter. So what does what it means about like index? So guys, this is our first letter which is available at index 0 in Python. The indexing starts with 0, so it is at index 0, it is at index 1, it at index 2, 3, and so forth. So if I say a 0, it will only print the letter which is available at index 0. And in current example, obviously this is capital F, uppercase, right? So here you see it is printing a capital F here, right? And I can mention something else as well. Let's say I want to print what is available at index 2. So this is index 0, guys, and this is index 1. So this is at index 2, right? So R is at index 2. So if I say 2, it will print me that letter. So here you can see it got printed the R for us. And now it's not always that you can only print a single, a letter this way. You can print a range as well. So how you can specify that range? So just, so use print, and now I say str1. And now in the square bracket, you need to specify the range. And how you can specify the range? For that purpose, you have to use colon. Before colon, you have to specify what would be the starting index, from where you want to start, right? So let's say, for example, we want to start with 0 only. And now after the colon, you have to specify where you want to end, right? And let's say I say 10. In this case, guys, listen carefully. This is included, no doubt about it. But this index is excluded. That means it will go from 0 up to 9 only, right? It will print what is at index 0 and then going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up to 9 only. So that you can see. So here we can, see, guys, this. Can you see? This is there, FOSC, So why? Because this is 0, right? This is 0. This is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, and then 9. So up to 9 only, that is there. Now, I can specify the, any starting index. It's not always that you always specify from 0 only. You can say 2, and then maybe you can say 8. In this case, it's now easy to understand that it will start from index 2. So what is available at index 2, guys? The R is available. So it will start printing from that. And now it will go up to 7 only, because 8 is excluded. This number is always excluded, whatever you specify after the colon, and that you will see this time we have output like this, right? Okay, a couple of variations, interesting variations maybe here. So if let's say specify str1, and then let's say you specify 2, and then you say colon, and after that you don't specify anything, right? In this case, it will start from index 2, because we are specifying this number. But as you have not given this end here, it will start from 2 and go up to end of the string, right? So starting from index 2 and then going up to end of the string. So it will start from index 2 and then print rest of the string. So that you can see it is starting from arg and then printing rest of the part. So similarly, other variations are like here as well, str1, and there you see I do not specify the start this time, and let's say I specify the end, right? So now what will happen in that case? If you don't specify the start, by default it will start from 0. So it will go from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and then up to 4 only, because 5 is excluded. So that is also, so here you can see the output that you can see, right? So something like that. Okay, what will happen in this case if I do this str1 and then I just say like this? What do you assume, guys? What is your guess in this case? What will happen in that case? if you don't specify the start as well, and you don't specify the end as well. So yes, Harsh, you are right. In this case, it will print everything. It is, same as printing str1, right? It is same as str1 only. It's the same. So it will print everything, right? Because you do not specify start. So by default, it will start from 0. You do not specify the end as well. So it will go and cover the entire string in that way. It will go up to the end. So here you can see we have, the complete string here. Now, still a couple of variations are there. So for understanding, I will, copy this part. So, things are clearly seen by you. So, okay, I'm hiding rest of the things, but, str1 is here. See this, str1. And this time I'm specifying the starting index 10. Then I take in colon, specifying the index. This time I'm taking one more colon and saying 2. So what does it mean? So basically, when you do like this, what it means that you want to print str1. Here it is your start index, then it is your end index, and then the third, parameter that you have specified is a step, right? Step. So what 2 means here, that you need to print every alternate character, right? Don't count everything from 0 to 10. Still you have this range only from 0 to 9, because 10 is excluded, and within that range you have to take every alternate letter, right? So starting from 0, you print f, then skip 1, then print index 2, then skip index 3, and then 4, and then skip next, then print that. So alternate, so it's a kind of a hopping, right? You are hopping to every second character in the string, and that you see in the output. So there you see. Okay, I just need to use print here, otherwise it will not print. So that's here. So here you see what you get. Can you see, guys? We have at index 0, then O is skipped, then R is there, then S is skipped, then K is there, then space is skipped, then I is capitalized there, then N is skipped, and then D is there. So this is how. So that means if you say, guys, like this, if you say str1 and then starting from 0 and then going up to 10, and then I'm specifying the step 1, what will happen in this case? What do you think? What will happen in this case? So because this time, okay, if you want to take some time, can you guys respond to this? What will happen in this case? So yes, Ankur, it will, yes, Lalit, it will print everything, but from 0 to 9 only, right? It will not print the entire str1. It will print everything between 0 to 9, because the step is just 1. Sri Kalyan, you are right? The step is just 1. So that's there. Now, a couple of other things. In Python, we have one more concept. That concept is known as reverse indexing. What we call it, guys? We call this as reverse indexing. What is the meaning of reverse indexing? Let me explain that part. Guys, whatever indexing we have used right now, that was all forward indexing, or kind of a positive indexing. You were using indexing starting from 0, and then a number greater than 0 in that. But in Python, we can have a reverse indexing also. So negative indexing is also allowed in Python. And how it is allowed, let me explain that through a sketch here. So here you see, let's say we have a string here. So here we have a string. Okay. This is our first letter, this is our second letter, this is our third letter, this is our fourth letter, and this is our fifth letter. So Fosk is there. And now we know this is at index 0, this is at index 1, this is at index 2, this is at index 3, and this is at index 4. No doubt about it, right? And I can, specify any, start and end index to print part of this. Similarly, this is the forward indexing part. Similarly, we have a reverse indexing as well, reverse. And in case of reverse indexing, what happens, guys, is starting from the last, starting from the rightmost side, this index is -1, this is 2, this is 3, this is -4, and this is -5. So starting from the rightmost side, this is -1, this is -2, this is -3, this is -4, and -5, right? So, this is also allowed in Python. So if I write something like that in Python, where I say, something like that, print str1, and then I say -1, right? So what will happen in this case, guys? What do you think? Let me copy this so, easy to connect here. What will happen in this case? In this case, you can see, guys, at -1, what is the letter we have? A. So it will print us the last letter from this string str1 that you can see, right? That you can see. And, using, reverse indexing, I can specify the range as well, no doubt about it. So how I can specify the range? So I can specify the range this way, print str1, and in the str1, I can specify the start index. So let's say I say, can you see, guys, we had this -5, right? So let me start with this only. I say -5, and then going up to, let's say, -2, for example, or -2 only, right? So now you can see, what it will print. Can you guess, guys, what it will print? We are starting from -5, and then, -5 would be printed, -4 would be printed, -3 would be printed, right? So that you can see, okay, it was taking. So here you can see, guys, this is -1, this is -2, this is -3, this is -4, and this is -5. So for us, this is -5, this is -4, this is -3. It will go up to that only, right? Because -2 is excluded. Always remember, this index, starting index, has to be lower than this index. That's it. Whether it's a negative, whether it's a positive, doesn't matter. This index has to be lower than this. Then only you will get a valid output. Otherwise, it will not give you. So, in case if you want to do something like that, print str1, and then you say -2, and then you say -5, right? What will happen in that case? Let's see what will happen in that case. You can see here it was an empty one, right? Nothing is printed there because it made no selection at all. It made no selection at all. So although it didn't give the error, but it did not make any selection. To make a selection, what is a right way? This number has to be lower than this number. That's it. So is reverse indexing quite clear? I'll take one more example and then I'll ask you that, is that clear with you? So guys, I told you that if you want to print str in this way, where we are saying str1, right? And then we are saying 0, and then going up to 10, and then going up to 2. So I told you what? I told you that, okay, let me take here only. So things are pretty clear. So, and I'll take this part here as well. Okay, now things, okay, yeah. So here you see str1 is still FOSS India, and then we are printing this. We know about this, right? It will print everything from index 0 to 9 with the stepping of 2, right? It will print everything from that, and then it printed. Now, with the same stuff, I say something like that. Print str1, and then I say this, and this. What will happen in this case, guys? I did not specify the start index. Okay, well, if you don't specify, I will take 0. Okay, I did not specify the index as well. Well, no issues. I will take everything, I'll count everything there, and then stepping is 2. So it will consider entire string, but print every alternate character in that. So that you can see now in the output as well. Can you see, guys? This is there, right? So it got printed everything, but it's stepping of 2. Now, similarly, I can make a change here as well, str1 here, and then doing the, and then this. Can you see? Can you respond, guys? What will happen in this case? What will happen in that case? This time I'm taking stepping 1. It will print everything. Yes, Minu, you're right. So it will print everything. And if that is the case, what happens if I do something like that, str1, and then I say this, and this time stepping is -1? What will happen in that case? That means I'll count everything, but I'm going in the reverse direction. I'm moving in the reverse direction now, right? No, Harsh, there is a little, correction for you. This time I'll count everything, no doubt about it, but I'm not taking forward steps. I'm taking backward steps, right? Because this number always specify the steps, right? This always specifies the steps. So this way now you can, see that we are going to traverse our string in a completely reverse order. So this will give me a reversal of my string, and that you can see it started with A. That means it started from the last, and then printing them in the reverse order, and that's why you see we were able to reverse our string if we specify this indexing this way. Indexing in Python is sometimes called as slicing as well. Indexing in Python is sometimes called as slicing as well. Can you see? So most of the time we talk about slicing in Python, and we don't talk about indexing in Python. So that's so. Are things clear so far? Please share your feedback, everyone. Nara saying yes. Okay, thank you, Nara. Okay, Lalit saying yes. Sri Kalyan saying yes. MK, Minu. Okay. Ankur. Cool. Now, more things from str. I'll talk about them. So again, this is str, and now I want to do something. What I want to do. I want to access the first letter from str1. So this way I can access that, no doubt about it. I can use str1, then I'm using indexing 0. So it obviously, gives me this letter. And now I want to assign a new letter here. So I am using, assignment operator. What you want to assign new? Let's say I want to make it lowercase f. So earlier it was uppercase, but now it is lowercase. So what I want to do, I want to make a change in str1. And what change you want to make? You just want to write a new letter at index 0. So is it allowed? Can we do this in Python? So let's run it. We'll understand that. And now, can you see? We got an error, right? So far it was working good. So far it was working good up to line number 49. But now after that, it gives me an error. What is the error? Can we read it? Yes, we can read it. It says type error. And what it says, str object does not support item assignment. What does it mean? It means, please all listen carefully. It means that strings are read-only. It means in Python, strings are read-only, and once initialized, right, you cannot change them. Once initialized, you cannot change them. And that's why when I was trying to make a change in my str1 using this statement, I was not able to do that because strings are not allowed to change, and the object that cannot be changed or cannot be modified, we call that kind of object as read-only. We call this as read-only. So strings are read-only in Python. The strings are read-only in Python. The object that is read-only in Python is called as immutable. We call it as immutable. Called as immutable. So immutable means read-only. You cannot change it once in a slice, and that's why it was not possible for us to have a change in the original string. Is that clear? Is this concept clear that strings in Python are read-only? They are immutable. They cannot be changed. They cannot be modified. Is that clear with everyone? Okay, fine. Now, after this much understanding in the str part, let's understand a couple of things. In the beginning, I told you that you can use dir method, right? Dir method to know about the methods that a library can have. So, we did that, do you know that we imported math, and then what we did? We did this dir, and then, we said math, and now we are able to see a lot of methods inside a math library, right? Now, similarly, I'm just interested to know that, what are the various methods that I can have with str class? That what are the various methods that I can have on strings? What methods I can apply on strings? I want to know that. So for that purpose, you use dir, and in the dir, you need to pass on the name of your class or maybe name of your object. So maybe you can pass the class name directly, or maybe you can pass the object name as well, right? So that here you can see, guys, right? A lot of dunder functions in the beginning, right? So double underscore, and they are not kind of public functions. And these are the public functions that we can use in strings. Okay, we'll talk about more. I want to know, I can use the object name as well. So let's say I'm using dir, and then I say str1, right? So this time str1 is not a class name. str1 is the object name. Is it allowed? Yes. Is it allowed also? Because ultimately it's hitting the class only. Now, we want to know, a couple of methods are there. I will not discuss every method here, but I'll take a couple of them, and so that you understand how to use them. That's it, right? And you can follow the same philosophy while using the other methods as well. Let's say I want to use this, where it is, upper. Can you see this method? Upper, right? So I want to know more details about this upper method. How I can do? So I can use help. And inside help, what I need to say? I need to say str dot upper, class name, then dot, and then method name. So here you see what we get. See this. Please focus here, right? So can you see? It is saying return a copy of the string. Mind it, you have to read this statement very, very clearly. What is this saying? Return a copy. Return a copy. That means it will not modify the original string. And anyway, which is not allowed in Python, right? You cannot change the original string. You cannot change that. It's a read only. It's immutable. And that's why in the documentation, the method says return a copy of the string converted to uppercase, right? So how we can do this? Let's do this here. So we have here, okay, for the quick one, we can say str1 FOSC here, FOSC India. So this is str1, and now I do one thing, str1 dot, right, upper. That is the method we have to call. So to call a method, you need to use parentheses, you need to close it, and then you see what you get in the output. Can you see, guys? Every a letter converted to uppercase. But mind it, it just returned a copy to us. It did not change the original string. That means str1 is still same. There is no change in the str1. Can you see this? So that was just a output on the display. That was just a output on the console, right? It is just a copy. And if you want to retain this copy, you have to use one more, object. So str2, and then you can say str1 dot upper. That is okay. You are just holding the output of the upper, a method in str2. So now you can see str2 is all uppercase, but str1 is still as it is in the original form. Okay, we can have a couple of other methods, but I'll focus on two methods as of now. So let's see this. Let's say I take a string str2. Okay, maybe I can take str1 only. And here, in the double quote, I take a string. For example, I say Cali, okay, and then I say Darby, and then say Hana, right? So I think that should be the, okay, fine. So you can see str1 is equal to Cali, Darby, and Hana, okay? And this is my str1. And I'll remove everything as of now. I'll just remove everything. Maybe I can, if I can, I think, okay, I got copied it and pasted it in your chat. So maybe you can use it for your purpose here. So this is my str1. So I cleaned everything as of now. So this is, Cali, Darby, and Hana. Now I want to use a function split. Can you see? We have a function split here. What it does, let's understand that. So first we need to get a help on that. So in the help, I'm just writing str. This is my object, and then I say split, right? So this is the method I want to know, and here you see a lot of things. And okay, let's focus on this. Return a list. Okay, this is something new to us. We don't know a list yet, what the list is. Return a list of the words in the string using, a separator as the, a delimiter string. So what does it mean in short, right? It is saying that it will, return a list from this string, and in the list you will have words, right? So this would be the one word, this would be the another word, and this would be the another word. So let me call this, and I'll just explain that part. So I'm just saying str1, then I saying a split, and then I just closing it, and let me say print here. Okay, I say print here. So here we do, and then you see here. So what comes out to be? Yeah, can you see? We get a list here. Why we are calling it list? This looks very similar to arrays in any programming language, right? This looks very similar to arrays. This looks like arrays in C. This looks like arrays in other programming languages like C++ or Java. This array-like structure in Python is called as list, guys. This is a list here. This is our list. Now, and now you can see, what split did to our str1. Can you see it got the first word? So now Cali is the first item in the list. Darby is the second item in the list. Hana is the third item in the list, right? So basically the separation happened at, spaces. Can you see this white space? Can you see this white spaces? So wherever we got the white space, it, got splitted actually. And now, if you had four words, then it will give you the four items, right? And now, to understand more around it, I can, rather than using print, what I can do, I can take a name. So let's say I take a variable name list1 and assign this. So here you will see this, list one will have this Cali, right? Yeah, Lalit, I'll come to that. So this is Cali and Darby and Hana type, and we call this as a data structure. In fact, so list is a inbuilt data structure in Python. We'll talk about more later on. You know, if you say what is the type, here you will see it's a list. So it is used for uh, you know uh, is store the collection of a data. So rather than having a single value, if you have a collection of the data, collection of the values, you can use a list. So this is there, guys. So it is splitted. Now, if you don't specify any parameter, right, as a separator, it will always do the split using a white space only, using the white space only, right? But you can specify something else as well in the split method. What you can specify, let's say we have a one more string, str2, and in the str2, let's say I say, what I should say, uh, 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 I can say, mm, hello from Fosk, for example. Let's say this is the text we have, and this time I want to do a split using this O, right? So how the split will happen? So we'll do this like str2 and then doing a split, and inside that I need to specify that I want to make a split like this. So let's say this is list 2. So guys, can you see? So now what will happen? It will start from this and then going up to, and then it will consider this as one word, because now in the next it has O. So it will make a split here. So it will mark a cut here, and then it will start from this and then going, and then mark a cut here. So as soon as it encounters O, right, it puts a cut there, right? So after the cutting, this becomes the one word. After the cutting, this becomes another word. After the cutting, this becomes the one more word, and after the cutting, this becomes the one more word in the list, right? And we can see that. So here you see we got here, and then you see, can you see this, guys? This is hell, and this is the white space, and then FR, and this is M, then white space F, and this is RSK. So this is how it can make a split. Lalit, is that clear? So we can use anything as a delimiter or as a splitter. That is there. Now this is how the split happens. And now let's see what we have in the list one. In the list one, we know the Scali, Darby, and Hana is there. And now let's say this is our list one. So I'm just using list one again, and this is just for for your clarity. So this is there. Now I want to do some reverse job. I was able to split my string and getting the output in a form of a list. That was fine with me. Now I want to do a reverse activity. I have a list data, I have an array, right? And I want to create a string back from that list. I want to create a string back. How it can happen? And for that, I need to use another method that is called as join, join method. Okay. And now in the join method, you need to specify what you want to join. So I will say I want to join all of the items in my list one. So that's how I specify it. But along with this, I also need to specify one more thing. That okay, I will join all of the items which are in the list one. So I will join, this and this and this. But how I want to join, right? How I want to join. That means what you want to put in between those items. So how you want to kind of join Cali and Darby. So what you want to put in between Cali and Derby, and similarly what you want to put, between Derby and Hana, so that I can, kind of create a sandwich for them. So I need to specify this. So I use dot here, and before dot I need to specify that connector, that joiner, right? And let's say I say, please join using a star, for example, so joining a star. So if that happens, right, it will, join all of the items which are in the list one, and join them or glue them using this, right, using this star. So let's see what the output comes out to be. So can you see, guys? And this is a string. This is all a string, right? So I can say, so rather than print, let's say I say str, for example, 3. So this is here, str3. So now let's see, uh, we get it here. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so can you see str3 is there? Yeah. Can you see str, Cali, Derby, and Hana? And obviously this is a string because you can see it's in single quote, right? So this way I was able to convert my list data into a string. And always mind it that as of now I'm telling you that this has to be list, but in Python this can be any sequence. So it can be a list, it can be a tuple. I will talk about tuples later on. It can be a string itself, because all of these are sequences, right? A string is also a sequence, list is also a sequence, so I can do something like that as well. So maybe I do um that I can, join using a space as well. It does, it doesn't matter. So if I use a space or white space, is, you will see uh, Cali, then white space Derby, then white space Hana, and I can use join for example, I have a string which is let's say you know what San Diego, for example, right? So I think that should be the correct name. So San Diego is there, str1, and then I say join, and now I'm specifying str1, and this time I say star. So what will happen in that case? So let's see what will happen in that case. Print, and then I say, okay, do this. Can you see? Star got inserted between every letter. So after S, and then after A, then after N, and so on and so on. So that means in the join you can specify a list, in the join you can specify a string, in the join you can specify a tuple as well. So I'm talking about the sequence actually. So it can take any sequence and can give you the output. So this is how you do it in and you can have other methods as well in Python, and you just need to look at every a method. So let's say I have this Fosk India, right? And I want to know that what is the index of, let's say, K. What is the index of K, right? So it will be a new method for me. This is called as index. I need to specify the letter, I'm interested in to find out the index. So here it will give me the index. So I just need to print it. So here you see, and it will give me the index. So str1, and can you see, guys, this gives me the index 4. Why index 4? Because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. What happens if you have multiple Ks? So let's say you have one more Fosk here. What will happen? We will get the same output, because index will give the index of first occurrence only. So wherever I get the K for the first time, that would be my output. That would be my output. But I want to know how many times the K is coming. I can use str1 dot count. There is a method called count, right? And in that I can specify let's say k, right? So I'm just telling quick functions. They can be used by you, and for more details you can go and check for every other function. Obviously we cannot discuss everything here, and there you can see the k comes twice in the entire string, right? And even let's say you want to replace k with a dollar sign. So how you can do that? str1 dot replace. There is a method with the replace as well. So you don't need to remember all the functions. You just need to know how to get a list of those functions, and you just need to understand that where you need to use these functions. According to problem statement, you might have to use different functions. So str1 dot replace, and now what you want to replace? I want to replace k with what you want to replace. So after comma I can specify that as well. I want to spaces using dollar. So now guys, mind it, the strings are read only, so you will see only a copy, right? So in the output, you will see a copy where k has been replaced by a dollar, right? So here we see this str. So, and there we see. So uh, that's here. Can you see? K got replaced with dollar here, and k replaced with a dollar here as well. So this is all for today. This is all today from my side. And I need to give me feedback, guys. How was it for today? Was it interesting for you? Was something new if you already know Python? So please share your feedback. How was it? So MK Satur saying good. Ankur saying it's a great learning. Her saying good. Okay. Narasin saying thank you. I learned a lot. Her saying need to practice. Yeah, hers, you are right. Practice will only keep the things with you. Sri Kalyan saying good. I got no questions. Explanation was good. Thank you, Sri Kalyan. Minu saying it was a great session. Thank you. Thank you, Minu. MK, the videos are available on YouTube, right? We will share a link with you. So video are available on YouTube. And do we have some assignment, Sylvester, for the people to practice if they want to do?
Yes, they're already there on the Google Drive.
So guys, we already have a kind of assignment, you can say, or a code challenge, right? So if you're interested, you can have a hands-on, on using that. And the video, recorded video, would be uploaded on the YouTube. So you can go there and watch it again if you are, if you find that something was like, missed, or like, something need to be, you know, uh, discussed again. Let me go to the drive for you first. So guys, this is our drive, right? This is our drive. And in this drive, can you see we have a folder with the name day one, right? So let me refresh it. So here we have day one. Let's go inside this day one a folder, and can you see we have this day one assignment.txt. So let me double click on this. There you get a so things are very, very simple actually, right? It's not a for experienced people, this would be kind of a very trivial kind of activity. You just need to perform two activities. In one, you need to find out the body mass index, and in the second, you just need to calculate a couple of things. So you can go through this assignment and then try to solve. It's a kind of a toy programming as a day one, because for beginners, I will call it as a toy programming only. So that's it. From day 3 onwards, right? You will have a little, a complex assignments. But just to start with, if you want to have a practice, you can do that. So this is the assignment, and we can discuss this tomorrow. If you come with some questions on it, we'll be happy to answer those. So that's here for today. Now, if you have any questions, please raise your questions in the chat window. I would be happy to answer and try to answer those questions. Any questions, Sankur, Bharti, Harsh, Lalit, Minu, MK, Nara, Satvik, Sri Kalyan? Any questions from you? Or I think Sri Kalyan had no questions. He mentioned earlier. Yeah. So anything else from your side? For tomorrow's session, we'll talk about two important, concepts in any programming language. One is known as looping. So we'll understand how to use looping in Python. We'll understand how to use while looping and how to use for loop. We call for loops as for each loop in Python. So we'll use both of them, and we'll see where they are, they are being used. And along with the looping concept, we also understand the control flow, that how you can use, if else or elif, and based on certain condition, you can execute a specific block, under if else or elif. So we'll see that, and it would be an interesting part again. Guys, if you have no further questions, maybe we can close it for today. So Harsh, should be close it now, the session, or anyone has any question? I'm still open. Harsh, you just need to refresh your drive, Harsh. Okay. And then you will see day 1 there. Nara, any questions? Anything from your side? Yeah, see you tomorrow, MK. Yeah, Bharti, see you tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, Nara, see you. Yeah, uncle, thanks. Yeah, Lalit, thank you. Yeah, Sri Kalyan, thank you. Have a good day, and have a good night for you if you are in US. Yeah, Minu. See you tomorrow. Thank you. I'm closing now. Bye bye. Take care.